Bartosiak with trending stocks at Zacks.com. Now, most of you out there think you know what a Ferrari is, but only a few of you actually know what a Ferrari is. Growing up in Chicago, I think I saw a 360 Spider once downtown, and I thought that I'd won the lottery. Nowadays, even entry-level Ferraris like the Roma are going to set you back 300K with a decent spec. I know Ferrari Financial works miracles, but most of us are not going to stroke a $4,000 check every month for the privilege of putting 150 miles a month on one. Go a little further up the food chain, you're talking $750,000 for something like the SF90. Who needs a real-world Ferrari anyway when you can get the NFT? Non-fungible tokens were all the rage a few months ago. Ferrari, which loves to license his brand to ramp up profits, has partnered up with Swiss blockchain startup Velas Network to bring the next generation of digital Ferraris to life. Velas is an open source blockchain network with its own native token, Velas. Ferrari announced the deal Monday. It's a multi-year agreement with Velas to jointly issue exclusive digital content for Scuderia Ferrari, the racing arm of the famed brand. This is exciting stuff, Ferrari, as the Scuderia looks to be competitive again in F1 in 2022. As long as the FIA doesn't decide mid-race to change the rules again and hand Max the title, Ferrari should be in the hunt. This could be a big story in the metaverse and allow investors yet another opportunity to profit. Let's take a quick look at Zacks.com to see how Ferrari's numbers have been stacking up. So currently, Ferrari is a Zacks rank number 3 hold with a D for value, B for growth, a D for momentum to help it round out with a VGM composite score of C. It is an automotive manufacturer, but the automotive original equipment industry is in the bottom 15% of our Zacks industry rank. Let's take a look at some of the more detailed sales estimates here. Huge revenue growth for Ferrari, 24%. For the current year. Look at next year. That's expected to swell yet another 10% to $5.44 billion. There's a lot going on at Ferrari. 2022 is the 75th anniversary of the company. Expect to see the Puro Sangue SUV, as well as a 296 Spider and Ferrari's new hypercar to replace the LaFerrari, as they're planning on racing Le Mans in the new hypercar class in 2023. On the earnings end of things, 44.38% earnings growth for the current year. Next year, 11.44. So a ton of revenue and earnings growth there for Ferrari has caused a little bit of bullishness coming from analysts. If you look out the current year, we went from $4.73 90 days ago to $4.72, back up to $4.75 for the current year. Same sort of wiggling and jiggling here for next year, from $5.30 to $5.29, back up to $5.30. So a little bit of tweaking. But one thing I will tell you is the under promise and over deliver from Ferrari. Last quarter, a 22% earnings beat. The quarter before, 12.6, basically in line before that, and then a little bit of a beat going back there. So they're doing a really good job at managing analyst expectations over there at Ferrari. Now let's take a look at the price consensus and EPS surprise chart. This has got to be my favorite chart on earth because you get to see so much in such a small frame. So first, little green arrows, earnings beats, red arrows, earnings misses. And one thing you'll notice as I clear this up, there's only two small disappointments, one larger disappointment for Ferrari, but no one really cares too much about that. Let's take a look at these multicolored lines, which represent the evolution of our Zacks consensus estimates over time. Obviously, COVID put a little bump to the downside here, and that was just because the factory wasn't open. It wasn't really anything on the demand side, just factory wasn't there. But if you look at this growth year over year from this year to the year before to next year up into 2023, we're looking at some really nice gross numbers for gross EPS growth numbers there for Ferrari. Definitely a good sign. And what happens when you get this natural progression upward in earnings, you tend to get a stock price that ticks alongside with it. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Since the IPO, Ferrari has really delivered for investors and continues to be revved on up. Every time you share this video, somebody well-deserving gets an allocation on a digital version of the Ferrari they've always wanted. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Twitter at Bartosiastics, and check out Zacks.com/promo for this week's deal on finding #1 stocks. With Trending Stocks, I'm Dave Bartosiak.